Hello, GOTC newbies. Third time is a charm. I did the video the first time, it did not record. The second time I got a phone call. So let's hope that this time we're good to go. So this is Mistress Yoda. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the expeditions at the Maesters Tower. So if you go into expeditions, these are mostly good for if you're out of keystones, you need to make keystones, you're out of soldier pine, you're out of brick. This is a good place to go. Also, if you're desperate for dragon lore, this is a good place to go. Or you want to make the Vintners Goblet trinket. This is where you get those shards to make the Vintners Goblet trinket. So I don't really like the stockpiling, the pantry, cellar, and smokehouse. Because in those expeditions, you're basically trading a larger amount of food for a smaller, like food that's up in your top bar, for a smaller amount of boxed up food or wood. So if you've done something and you have like an obscene amount of open food and you want to put it down into your inventory because your troops are going to eat it all, then you can use these, the stockpiling, the pantry, cellar, smokehouse. Other than that, I never really mess with those. The Vintners Goblet, the only difference between the four different ones is, my dog's sneezing, bless you, Shady. The lowest one will give you 93 shards per 2 expeditions. This one will give you 2,000 shards per 4 expeditions. This one will give you 6,827 shards per 7 expeditions on its map. And this one will give you 26,700 shards, Vintner's cask, basically, pieces to make that Vintner's Goblet trinket in your smithy. So you choose from which expedition, and you see each one requires a certain amount of other resources that you're basically trading in order to make those, okay? And it really varies no matter which one you click on what you'll need. The lower ones, it takes less to make less, and so on. Like, so for the first one where you get 93 shards, you're really just using, a very small amount of resources to get that. But if you want to make a really high level Vintner's Goblet, you definitely want to get more shards so that you can make it where it's not poor quality. The brick, that one's important. There's stash a brick, stock a brick, hoard a brick. Same thing. Stash a brick, back to it. Stash a brick awards you 5 bricks per expedition and takes various amounts of resources. And you can tell that by clicking this little treasure chest at the bottom. Stock of brick is going to give you 50 bricks per expedition, but the resources required are more. Hoard of brick will give you 200 bricks per expedition, but as you see, the resources required for each expedition are again higher and higher. And then you can see that it requires a Maesters Tower of 20 before that one unlocks. Stash of scholarly fragments. That's, of course, used in your other research. So for the scholarly fragments, you can do the same thing. Trade various amounts of resources for various amounts of scholarly fragments. Same with soldier pine. For 2 soldier pine per expedition, that's how much you're trading of another resource to get that. And then you move up on the soldier pine from stash to stock, and you see that you get 10 soldier pine per expedition and various resources depending on what expedition you choose. You do not have to go in order on these expeditions on the map. You can choose any of them in any order to burn whatever resource it is that you're trying to burn to trade for that soldier pine or whatever. And then you can also do it for pale steel shards. The dragon mustering of livestock, this is where you can get fine level dragon food, 10,000 per 3 expeditions, and you're trading various amounts of other resources, but you see you have to do 3 full expeditions to get that 10,000, so you're multiplying you know, whatever's on here times 3 to get that 10,000 livestock. You move down here a little further, and you have the Merchant's Guide to King's Landing. This one by far is my most favorite because its award is 10 keystones per expedition. These are your friend, especially later on in the game. You have the option of trading red gold flakes for 10 keystones, brick and food for the keystones, or pale steel shards and stone for the keystones. Then you move down here. So that's the Merchant's Guide to King's Landing is your keystone. The Traveler's Guide to King's Landing is where you can get red gold flakes. They're hard to come by. They're used for resources, or not resources, for research in your Maesters Tower, and you can also trade them for keystones in the Keystone expeditions. It's very expensive for the most part to get small amounts of red gold flakes. Don't ever trade your keystones for red gold flakes. You're never going to be in a position where that's a wise move unless you've maxed out your keep and every building in it. And now you need red gold flakes for some reason. That's about it. The Dragon Lore expeditions. So as you can see, there are several hundred. 4, 8, 12, 16, 2,000 different expeditions. So if, say you click this one, you've got to do 4 expeditions to get 20,000 dragon lore, okay? So that would be here, you'd have to do 4 of these to get your 20,000 dragon lore. So, if you have tons of wood, tons of stone to burn, you've got food and iron to burn, you've got, bricks and scholarly fragments, tons of those for some reason, that sort of thing. You could burn those for, you could spend those to make that lore doing these expeditions. But that's kind of for desperate times when you're a much higher level player. Typically as a very low level player, you're not going to be doing that. And also when you click it, you see it requires a Maesters Tower of at least 15 to unlock that one. For your Keystone expeditions, it's going to require you to have a Maesters Tower of 15 also, and so on. So some of these may be locked. Like you may see a lot of locks right now. The only locks I have in this game are the Hoard of Soldier Pine and the Hoard of Pale Steel Shards, because this keep is only a 20, and it needs to be, the Maesters Tower needs to be a 22 before those unlock. So basically, all in all, that's the long and short of your expeditions in the Maesters Tower. So don't get confused on the map when you see it like this. There's no order. You can click any of them and do any of them depending on what's good for you. So, you see here, you get 2 boxed up 1 million food for completing these. But in order to do that, you're burning soldier pine and food. You're burning 6 million food to get 2 million food boxed up. So, think about that before you mess with those expeditions. So anyway, that's the long and short of the expeditions in the Maesters Tower. I hope that helped you understand them. This is Mistress Yoda signing out.